The science known as the biology, cosmology, and biography of Almighty Nature, known as the One Supreme Being. Does Jupiter have an ocean of hydrogen? The composition of Jupiter is similar to that of the Sun, mostly hydrogen and helium. Deep in the atmosphere, pressure and temperature increase, compressing the hydrogen gas into a liquid that gives Jupiter the largest ocean in the solar system. An ocean is made of hydrogen instead of water. Listen to reason. The hydrosphere between, among, and surrounding the universes is a mixed formula consisting mainly of hydrogen and oxygen, and it is designed by the nature of nature and the laws thereof to hold universes like the gas sphere of the universes holds the stars and other universe and nature bodies. The gas sphere between, among, and surrounding the stars and other universe bodies is an aeriform formula of various kinds of gases designed by the nature of nature and the laws thereof to hold universe orbs and other universe bodies like water and other liquids hold objects. A universe is born when some of the ocean of nine ether energy located within the true stars, the suns of the universe, first jet out into the gas sphere surrounding the suns. The left side of this diagram denotes a universe being born by nine ether. The right side demonstrates universes in the hydrosphere. The gas sphere is inside of the universe skin, and the hydrosphere is the surrounding atmosphere. Hydro relates to water. A software engineer was asked this question: is it possible for a planet with oceans made of hydrogen to exist? The answer was yes. We have two in the solar system, Jupiter and Saturn. Granted, their hydrogen oceans are under very high pressure.
Jupiter has more than twice the mass of all the planets in the solar system combined. It doesn't have a solid ground and is made up of the same elements as the Sun.
In other words, Ra came from Ra, the sun. I, Jupiter, am that Ra from my husband Ra. Let Nun, Nunet, Mary, Mercury, message explain. Listen to reason. The mental spirit gods controlling the localities in this universe are as follows. 1. The sun gods, individual spirit powers of the true stars of the universes, and they are countless together with their consort goddess, the sun god on planet Earth. It's called by various names, by various people and different ethnic races by the names Ra, Re, Amun-Ra, Reharakti, Uranus, Ta, Jupiter, Helios, Horus, Elyon, Brahma, Phobos, Dangbala, Eli, as in the Caucasian Bible. Eli is short for Helios, and Elyon, Marduk, Lazut, etc. The sun gods and god sons, the physical suns themselves, are nine ether powers doing the top half, or the order circle, and six ether powers doing the bottom.
All true stars, the true stars of the universe, are the suns, do not have a solar system. Some suns are just stabilizers and light and life givers in the universe. But those like our sun in this part of the universe are growers and centers of solar systems. When a sun that is going to have a solar system has grown big enough and strong enough, it begins to put the matter and chaos surrounding it into order by forming a magnetic core, which is the center of a planet, and rolling that magnetic core against the matter of primeval chaos, which is not yet in order and surrounding the sun. A planet grows until all the matter in its immediate area has been formed into the orb. Then the power of the sun ignites the planet and releases its attraction on the planet, and the weight of the planet moves the orb away from the sun. The planet moves farther and farther away from the sun until it displaces its own weight in the atmosphere of the sun, as an object does in water. An object will sink in water until it displaces its own weight in that water, then it stops and floats.
This is wide as our entire planet. Most importantly, Jupiter is one of the reasons for life on Earth. Without Jupiter and Saturn orbiting past Earth, life may never have begun on our planet. These two gas giants likely help stabilize the solar system, protecting Earth from frequent run-ins with large, fast-moving objects.
Listen to reason. Organs do not displace themselves in the organism universe because, of course, there will be chaos and disorder. So the body of a universe acts as a stabilizer for orbs by help of brain newts and vacuum, like a person's body stabilizes its organs. Moreover, a universe of absolute nature is surrounded by what universe scientists call aquasphere or hydrosphere, like Mother Earth is surrounded by atmosphere and ozone. And this means that the universes are interrelated to their aquasphere, like Mother Gertha Earth is interrelated to her atmosphere. The so-called flesh, the invisible marginon that the skin of a universe is made up or composed of, keeps out the aquasphere surrounding a universe, like the skin of a human body keeps out the atmosphere surrounding him or her, except for the osmosis process by nature that must go on. Of course, the osmosis process is the intake of one kind of substance and the output of another. An example of osmosis is plants taking in carbon dioxide and giving off oxygen. Let it be remembered and let it be known. Organs are the next level of organization in the body. An organ is a structure made of two or more tissues that work together for a common purpose. Skin, the largest organ in the body, is shown in the figure to the left. Organs can be as primitive as the brain of a flatworm, as large as the stem of a sequoia, or as complex as a human liver. The human body has many different organs, including the heart, the kidneys, the pancreas, and the skin. Two or all of the tissue types can be found in each organ. Organs inside the body are called internal organs. The internal organs collectively are often called viscera. The most complex organisms have organ systems. An organ system is a group of organs that act together to carry out complex interrelated functions, with each organ focusing on a subset of the task. For example, the human digestive system is an organ system in which the mouth and esophagus ingest food. The stomach crushes and liquefies it. The pancreas and gallbladder make and release digestive enzymes, and the intestines absorb nutrients into the blood. An organ can be part of more than one organ system. For example, the ovaries produce hormones which makes them a part of the endocrine system. The ovaries also make eggs, which makes them a part of the reproductive system as well. The most important functions of organ systems is to provide cells with oxygen and nutrients and remove toxic waste products such as carbon dioxide. A number of organ systems, including the cardiovascular and respiratory systems, work together to do this. Here we have 7 stars, universe anchors and stabilizers.
Now it should be easy to understand why Alfred Woodard was told to put this in book 2. Listen to the reason. The second shape 51 in this paragraph is a circle the same but smaller than the one found on page 72 of this book. Every living being is considered to be a circle among circles, because we all live on the circle of the smack circular order produces and reproduces us all. The smack circular order is indeed a graphic presentation of the one supreme being, infinite eternal nature, like the circle in this paragraph. Shape 31 on page 72 also gives the 4 major elements of nature, and likewise their position as well as their natural cataclysm. The 4 elements of infinite nature are namely the elements of ground, solids, fire, ethers, air, gases, water, liquids. Basically, there are 18 major formulas among the 4 major ones. So here you can see the picture of the smack circle. He has a number from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the outside you have 17, 18, 16, 18, 17, 18, 16. And he said this right here, this smaller smack circle represents a person. because we're all smaller versions of smack circles. So this is why when I finish breaking this down, that this, so if this is, say this is me, I'm gonna use this as myself. I'm a Capricorn, so 1 in the ground between 17 and 18, this will be me. And I would know how to utilize the other parts of myself, because the ground definitely would deal with the physical part of a person. The water would deal with the liquid part of me as a person. The air would deal with what, the oxygen part of a person. The fire would deal with the blood part of a person. And we're going to get into these formulas, but this is, I had to go through all of that. So when we arrive at the point that I need to make by pointing out what Afro Uno had already put in here, then it'll make all the sense why you see me put the zodiac signs and that 5-pointed stuff with the sun, with the water, space, time, ether. All of that stuff is a manifestation of the person. Okay? So once we get to that part later on in the next section, that's when we'll be to start cooking with grease. We're going to continue with the formulas, and when we left off, like I told you before, remember to look at this as a person, because this is what Afro Uno wrote at this particular point in the nature book. So this is dealing with on a bigger scale and a smaller scale, but this is definitely him personifying the smack circle as a person. Okay, and the personification in the form of flesh, blood, veins, all those things that make up a human being. That's why I said before that the ancients knew this, and they knew, you know, as above, so below, as within is also without themselves. And that's how we was able to do what we did all that time ago. Excuse me. All right. Remember to look at this as a person. All right. These are the formulas. The 18 basic formulas are derived at this way. Take a look at shape 51, page 87, as you read. Numerical formula 1 is ground, formula 1 and 2 is ground and fire, formula 1, 2, and 3 is ground, fire, and air. Formulas 1, 2, 3, and 4 is ground, fire, and water. Formula 1 is fire, formula 2 is fire and air. Formula 2, 3, and 4 is fire and water. Formula 3 is air. All right, that's 1 through 8. Now we have 9 through 18. Formula 3 and 4 is air and water. Formula 3, 4, 1 is air, water, and ground. Formula 4 is water. Formula 4 and 1 is water and ground. Formula 4, 1, and 2 is water, ground, and fire. Formula 1 and 3 is ground and air. Formula 2 and 4 is fire and water. Formula 16 is time and continuity. Formula 17 is vacuum and shadow. Formula 18 is the circle, movement, change. All right, so those are the 18 formulas that break down from the 4 elements: fire, air, water, and earth. All right. These are the 18 basic growing formulas that exist as all matter and throughout all infinite nature and during the time that the universes exist. These forces and powers via their brain newts personify themselves as living beings. All the other numerous formulas are parts and members of these 18 major formulas. Using the 4 separate elements, ground, fire, air, and water, as the base, see shape 51. Again, only 18 formulas and combination formulas can be derived at. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Listen to reason. Now the writer shall attempt to demonstrate the personification of these powers and forces of nature by way of their brain newts. See pages 68, 72, and 88. Remember, the nature books explain how the brain newts personified themselves in the form of the orbs. So even though they can't be detected, they still are considered physical, but they can't be detected or seen with the naked eye or a microscope or anything like that. But they do personify physical things that can be seen. So now we're looking at the orbs in the form of the elements, all right, which you can see. All right, so formula 2 and 3 is fire and air. Numerical 16 is formula 2, 3, fire and air, parts person, brain and nerves, brain and nerves, creation of the brain Newt's god Nubahu and his consort goddess Nubahar, who personified themselves as the Neo-Pygmy race as the source of the Nile River in motherland Africa. It is true that the writer chose formulas 2, 3, and 4 and 1 because the head brain is in the top half of the circle of order, and the nerves of the brain runs through the person of the individual, like formulas 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 cover the whole circle. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Introduction to the Nature, Book 2, pages 88 through 89. All right. Here we have the head area of the SMAT circle, pointing at the 17, but all that at the top would be considered the head area, right? And on the side, you can see the brain with the veins running through the whole body. The head area are the numbers 2, 16, 18, 17, 16, and 3. The nerve areas are 16, 18, 17, 4, and 1. All right? Skinless body with a brain and nerves. It's just a picture, y'all. Not real. All right? Listen to reason. This video and audio is designed to show the reader and the listener is that even though Nupu turned into Zupu millions of years ago, they still exist in the form of these 4 major elements that broke down into the other 18 formulas.
The human body is a SMAT circle, just in a smaller form. Body parts, skin, blood, it's all there. To sound right reason, Mojinon stabilizes the organism universes as much as they need to be. Because Mojinon is medium contact conditioning existing between vacuum and matter. And this means that Mojinon causes aeriform matter to stick to vacuum. And of course vacuum cannot move and cannot be moved because vacuum is the unmoved mover. But in this case, it is the unmoved stabilizer. This medium condition, perfect unison of vacuum and matter, makes them magnetic. That is to say, supernatural. Of course, all of this action and accomplishment is the works of brain newts, whose proper name is Numni Buzum in the top half of the SMAT circle of order, and Zumni Bonum in the bottom half of the same circle. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Listen to sound right reason. It is so that Numni Bazum is supernatural in the first and highest degree of intelligence and power, which is another way of saying the God of gods during the top half of the SMAT circle of cosmos, during the time that the top half exists. The universe stabilizer, known as Mojinon, and during the bottom half of the same circle, which is now. The invisible universe stabilizer is named Majizaz, pronounced Majizaz. Perfect unison between vacuum and matter is supernatural, meaning this action produces a kind of supernatural and miraculous power. There are many kinds of and many degrees of supernatural and miraculous powers in Almighty Nature, in the positive or the negative or both. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. The Mojinon/hydrosphere in ancient Kemet is Nut. Nut has stars all throughout the body, and we know these are bones because stars give off calcium.
Come on, Sway.
Mut is another version of Nut because they are both primordial. Mut and Nut are also mothers. Nut is the aquasphere and represents every universe that exists. Nut is the Mojinon in ancient Kemet and is the skin of the universe. Nut, also known by various other transcriptions, is the goddess of the sky, stars, cosmos, mothers, astronomy, and the universe in the ancient Egyptian religion. She was seen as a star-covered nude woman arching over the earth, or as a cow. She was depicted wearing the water pot sign that identifies her.
It's a luxury for me.
Mut, also known as Ma'ut and Maut, was a mother goddess worshipped in ancient Egypt and the kingdom of Kush in present-day North Sudan. In Mareotic, her name was pronounced Mata. Her name means mother in the ancient Egyptian language. Mut is the mother of Shu and Tefnut, and she represents the aeriform gases. Now we're going to look at the word Marginon using the hieroglyphs. We have the letter M, which is the owl hieroglyph. The letter O is the quail chick. G is the cobra. I is the reed leaf. N is water. O is the quail chick, and N is water. Listen to matters, brain newts, sound right reasoning. The M and O in Mojinon stands for matter, mother, and consciousness. Listen to reason. Brains can produce and reproduce the energy of brain newts called mind and reason after having been originated by brain newts as a formula for meltdown, law, order, and organism. A brain is reproducing, recreating mind when the thoughts it reproduces are routine and familiar, or it has produced the same thoughts before. Reproducing the same thoughts, of course, is recollection or memory, and memory is necessary for learning and education. But a brain is producing mind anew when the thoughts it produces are new and different from any thoughts it has ever created previously or read or heard before. The brain of an organism develops and controls the organism via the nervous system of that organism. Some nerves are voluntary and yet others are involuntary, but all are controlled by their brain via brain newts broken down into mind and also impulse. And this writer repeats, brains are attributes of brain newts, and the two are synonymous for all practical purposes except examination and visibility. Because brain newts are invisible, macroscopically and microscopically, meaning invisible, when using the microscope as well as with the naked eyes. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Listen to reason. Eternal, infinite nature is three major existences: the existence of space, the existence of matter, and the existence of time. And these three most major beings are inseparable because one cannot exist without the other, and the three are one. These three powers of absolute nature are in inseparable unity with each other. Absolute nature is all persons, all places, and all things, in past, present, and future. Space cannot exist without matter because it has never existed without matter, and never will exist without matter. And if there were no matter, there would never be any consciousness to know and to announce that space exists. In other words, if there is no consciousness of the existence of a person, place, or thing, as far as knowing is concerned, that person, place, or thing does not exist. The GI in Mojinon stands for Earth, GE/GEO. The name Jesus also refers to earth or ground, and Jesus was sometimes called Geb in Egypt, and Geb is allied to the prefix GE, which means earth or ground. BIAE, Book 2, number 91 in part. Allah is the sun god of the Phoenician race, who people call Jesus today, is the earth god of ancient times, known as Geb, Giza, Esau, Panthera, Sobek, Poseidon, Neptune, Dagon, Vishnu, Lord, etc. The letter J, as in Jesus, is interchangeable with the letter G, and GE as Geb means earth. Nature Book 1, page 223. NON in the word Mojinon is the nine-ether chaotic waters, also called Nun or NON, nature of nature. When you translate this, it's the mother or matter of ground from the waters of Nun, Noon. In Noon, anything physical is considered ground or skeleton of the smart circle of order, as well as all universes. Number 1, Formula 1, ground, parts person, skeleton, and numerical formula 17, vacuum and shadow, parts person. Marrow, skeleton and marrow, creations of the brain newts god Bunu and his consort goddess Buna, who personify themselves as the Bako pygmy race at the source of the Nile River on the continent of Africa. Nature Book 2, page 90 in part, listeners to Tuna's Sound Right Cosmic Reason. In Noon Science, the ground is the first to be made manifest along with the space, giving room for the foundation of all universes to be born. This is why Formula 1 is called ground and and Formula 17 is called skeleton and marrow. They are interchangeable. In other words, wherever there is physical things like rocks, asteroids, crust on all planets are skeletons of a being. Remember, a universe is the biggest being that can exist. Look at this diagram from Introduction to the Nature Book 2, page 72. It shows the skeleton's ground of the smart circle of order. Remember this well. Next, I have a photo of the dendera, and I'm going to point out where space is, where the skin is, and where the brain roots are located. This is space. This arrow is pointing to the skin. And these are the brain roots between space and the skin. My name is Ta Wu'unua, and my name translates to first black bone opener, first step. Thanks for watching. True peace.